Hello, welcome back. This will be part 3 of our shrug. So I laid it down at the end of round number 8, and I want you to notice that, see where we had done the corners on each of the corners, front and back. Those are the places that we are going to start our repeats and stop our repeats. So that is what makes row 9 as confusing as it is, because what we're doing is we're going to start and do a repeat from here to here, and then from here to here, and then we're going to work on the corner, and then we're going to do that repeat that we did earlier from here to here, and then we're going to work on the corner. So if that breaks it down a little for you right away, it did for me. I had to read it several times, and then I realized that the brackets and the all the different ways of marking a repeat and making it so you're not repeatedly typing the same thing over and over again. Instead, you look back to a star or look back to whatever kind of punctuation that they use. Yeah. So it's going to start out right now with a chain of 4, row number 9, and then we're going to turn our work, which it does not say, by the way. I checked it a couple times and I'm like, where do we turn? I mean, if it's that detail, it should say that. It not only should say that, but it should say how many, things there are. But anyway, we're going to skip the first 3 singles. So 1, 2, 3. And we're going to start right in to this section here and do our 5 clusters that we did on the dress. So our cluster is starting a double crochet 3 times and only drawing through 2, and that's your 3rd time you started a double, ending with the 4 and drawing through all. And that is the cluster we did on the dress earlier, and throughout the whole shrug and everything. So 1, 2, 3, chain 3 in between, and we're going to do a cluster in every one of these singles on this section here. Now chain 3 in between, and then you should have 4 done, and then our last one we won't chain 3, we'll only chain 1. And that's how each one of these is going to look when you get to the section where the 5 single crochets are in there. We're going to, like I said, we're going to chain 1, we're going to skip 3, 1, 2, 3, and put a double in the center one. Then we're going to repeat that by chaining 1, skipping 3, 1, 2, 3, and then do the series of clusters again. I wanted to get it done so bad. It took me 2 or 3 days to settle down long enough to read this and just decide that, Chris, this is not hard. It's just you got to clear your mind of everything else and just read what that row says to do. And as long as you had the row below it, you should be fine. And even if you don't have the row below it, you should be able to decipher it. And I did. I'm telling you. It just... So each one of these has 5 clusters. And then you'll chain 1 again. Now, if you notice, you are coming up on one of these corners, and it says to skip 2 doubles and double crochet in the next, so this one, and then it says, wait a minute, ending last, skip 2 singles, double crochet in the next, chain 1, skip next 2 singles, and in the middle one, which that will end up being, you are going to put a V-stitch. So double, chain 2, and a double. And then it says to chain 2 again, and to put a stitch marker into the chain 2 space of that you just made. And then it says skip next 2 singles, put another double, chain 2, double. So see, those 2 have a V-stitch in them. You can go back and do that again, but all I did was I chained 1 after the double that went there. I chained 1, I skipped 2. In the middle one of that V-stitch, I put a V-stitch. And I chained 1, skipped 2, and then in the middle one, I did another V-stitch. At this point, we will chain 1, skip the next single, and put your next double. Now we're going to chain 1 again, and we're going to repeat these clusters with a double in between them all the way across. So I'm going to give you that repeat right now, and then I'm going to come back. So we're going to skip 3, 1, 2, 3, and we're going to do our clusters. We're going to do 5 clusters because that's where the cluster goes. I'm going to chain 3. I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. See that 5 singles in each one of these? We're going to do a cluster in every single one of those singles, just like we did here. And that's my third one, or it is my third one. And then this is the last of the clusters. So that makes 5. So we only chain 1. And we skip 3. 1, 2, 3. 1 double in that 4th one. Then we chain 1 again. And we're back to our repeat. So that's your repeat. You're going to chain 1. Put a double at the point. Skip 3. Start your cluster. Do 5 clusters. Chain 1. Skip 3. Put a double. Chain 1. And keep doing those until you get to the next corner. So you do 4 of these, because that's how many are there. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we get here. We're going to do our chain 1 in our double in that. Ends there. Then we're going to do that corner again. We're going to chain 1, skip 2, and put a V-stitch in that middle one. And then chain 1. We chain. Alright, skip next 2. Do V-stitch. Okay, so you're going to put the V-stitch in, and then you're going to chain 2, and then you're going to, yeah, so it's a chain 2. Remember? I didn't. The V-stitch was here in the middle. You chain 2, skip 2, and then do another V-stitch with a chain 1 in it, and then chain 1 and put your it's fine. It's fine. I'm gonna meet you back. See if you can do that section. Do 4 of them. Do a corner. Do 4 of them again. Do another corner. Corner stays the same. It's going to be just like this. I'm going to read it one more time. You're at the point where you double crocheted after you skipped 3. You're going to skip 2, double crochet in the next, chain 1, skip 2, double crochet, chain 2, double crochet in the next, which is your V-stitch. Chain 2, place a marker in the chain 2 space you just made. Skip 2, double crochet, chain 2, double crochet in next single, and then chain 1. Skip next single and double crochet in the next single and chain 1. That's your corner. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go all the way across to my last corner, do the corner together, and then finish off, and I'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. I am right to the last corner, so I'm going to just show you that what it tells us we're going to end up with is we're going to have 5 clusters in each one of the spaces that had 5 singles in it, and they're going to be separated by a chain 1, a double crochet, and a chain 1. So as long as you have the 5 clusters and the chain 1 in, or the double crochet in between, and that is your repeat. When you get to the corner, you want to end up with 2 V-stitches stemming from the middle of those V-stitches that we had before. Now, from what you should have before is 3 singles in each of these V-stitches, which would leave you a way to skip 2 to the middle 1, skip 2 to the middle one. If you don't, then just skip 1, and whatever way it ends up, you want a V-stitch coming out of these 2, and then your chain 2 in the middle. So what I did was, I did what they told me to, put a stitch marker in the first one. We're going to use that later. So you're going to have 2, then you're going to have 4 of these, and then you're going to do a corner, which is the same way. So this coincides with your corner, and then your other V-stitch goes in the next one. Then you're going to have 4 again, and then this corner again with your 2 V-stitches. Because you have 2 doubles on each side of that, the same way you have, yeah. Then you keep going, you have 4 more. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a corner with you and show you what I mean. Because I come to my corner and I know I need a V-stitch in the middle single crochet. But as you can see, I cannot skip 2 here. So I'm only going to skip 1. I'm going to put my V-stitch right in the middle. And that is how I'm ad-libbing or whatever to what you want to end up with. Then you chain 2. Then you skip 2, and it works out where this one goes right in the middle. So sometimes I'm only skipping 1, but for some reason, and it does say chain 2, doesn't it? Let me look back. Your V-stitch they don't even call it a V-stitch. They tell you to skip 2, do a double, chain 2, and a double. So I was supposed to chain 2. So I will go back and I will chain 2. And talk about repeat, repeat, repeat. And then it says to chain 2, skip 2. As long as this V-stitch goes into your middle stitch of that previous row, which it did, you should be fine. So then you're going to put your stitch marker in the first V-stitch. Then you're going to chain 1 and go back to your skipping 3 and actually this time you're skipping 1 and putting your double. And it actually does say that. Then you're going to skip 3 and do another cluster. Chain 3. Second cluster. Third cluster. Fourth. And then your fifth, right into the last single crochet of that grouping. Then you're going to chain 1, skip 3, 1, 2, 3, put 1 double into the middle, chain 1, skip 3, and do your last cluster, last set of clusters for row 9. And then I'm going to look at it before I do the last section And I'm going to say chain 1, okay, so do it twice more from star to star, star to star. Repeat 1 double crochet in single, chain 1, skip 1, double crochet, okay, so you're gonna skip and double crochet in the last single. Now that should look the same as the other side, which it does, right? Does it? Yeah, because you just changed 3 and that was it. Okay. All right, that's row 9. Oh my gosh, it didn't kill us. All right, so when you work into the marked 2, chain 2 spaces later, leave those markers in place and you use them again for placement later on when you pick up the sleeves. Okay, so we're going to do row 10, I think. Row 10, let's chain 4 again. And do we turn? I don't know. Doesn't tell us to. It never tells you to turn. Honest to Pete. Well, I'm going to. I guess I'm not going to go around here. Single crochet in the next chain 3 space. So that would be here. Chain 4. Single crochet in the next chain 3 space. And do that 3 times. So, chain 3. Oh, it's not. It's chain 4. It's a chain 4. Yeah, you didn't stop me and tell me it was a chain 4 when you knew darn well it was. Yeah. It's chain 4. Single in the next chain 3. Chain 4. Single crochet in the next 3. So we did it 3 more times. We did it, and then single crochet in the next 3, single crochet in the next double. Okay, so we're going to chain again. Let's see if we do it right. Chain 4, single crochet in the next chain 3 space. Chain 4, single crochet in the next chain 3 space 3 times. So 1, 2, 3. Then it says single crochet in the next double. So you're going to bring this right down into that double in the middle and chain and single crochet. And then chain 4. And do the same thing again. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then look ahead, put the double right in to that double, which is there, so that there are 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Chain 4 spaces. And then we're going to chain 4 now. Single crochet in marked. Seriously? Okay, so yeah, you're skipping this, single crochet in next marked chain 2 space. Skipped stitches form first sleeve. Okay. Really? That's all you skip, is that right there. Okay, hang on. Okay, what I did was I ripped out what I had started for row 10. So whatever I said for finishing up row 9 is fine. Row 10, we're going to start again. I don't want to delete what was on there because row 9 was okay. Basically, that okay. So let's go with row 10 again. So we're going to go chaining 4, turn in our work, which doesn't tell us to do. And we're going to now create our sleeves. First thing we're going to do is do a repeat here, get to the sleeve, skip our stitches for the sleeves by going into our marked spots. Then we're going to do our repeat here. So what it tells us is to chain 4 and to go directly into the very first chain 3 space, which is here. Then it says to chain 4 and do this 3 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's 3. Okay? Now it says to go directly into this double crochet and single crochet it. And then it says to do that again. So I want a single crochet in the chain 3 space without chaining anything. And then I want to chain 4. And do it 3 times. So that's 1. That's 2. And that's 3. And then I want to, now it says, I did that twice. I left 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh yes, this is the edge. That's what I was doing. I was counting this before thinking I needed 4. I don't. I need 3. So this is the edge. You don't count it. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, now we have it. So now it says to chain 4 again. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then it says to skip to your marked chain 2 space. So we're going to single crochet in our marked chain 2 space. And then it says single crochet in the next marked chain 2 space. So no chaining. Just go all the way over here and put a single crochet in the next marked chain 2 space. There. That's it. Onward. And then we chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So before and after your sleeve, you will have a chain 4. Okay, got it. Then I'm going to skip over to the skip this V-stitch here. You know, you're already in it. But you're going to skip this double and put a single crochet right in the next double. And then repeat from our star. So we're going to single crochet in the first triple. I mean first triple. There's no triples. Chain 3 space. Now we're going to chain 4 and single crochet in the next. That's 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. Single crochet in the next. That's 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Single crochet in the next. That's 3. And there is our 3 chains. Then we're going to look down and go right into the double and then right back into the next chain 3 space. That all brings that together, and we're going to chain 4 do this with 3 chains on top. And the next. Then we'll look and it'll be the middle again, so we won't do any chains. We will go right into the double and then right into the next chain 3. Then we'll chain 4, single, chain 4, single, chain 4, single. There's our dip again, right straight into the double with a single, back into the chain 3 space and chain 4 over here, 1 2 3 4 over here, 1 2 3 4, and the last one. Now we're up back here again, so we're like we were before. We were here and it told us to chain 4. So I haven't gone into that double down here. I left it. Didn't tell us to go in there. It's a big opening there. Let's see what it tells us to do now. It says chain 4, skip stitches, form a sleeve. Okay, so it says to do that 4 times, and the last thing is a single in the double. So it does tell us to do it this time. Oh yeah, it says chain 4, and then it says single crochet in the marked chain 2 space, single crochet in the next marked chain 2 space, and then chain 4. So you do that on both sides, and I did. It is on both sides back here, so it's here now too. And then it says skip that double and put 1 in the next, and then put 1 into the chain 3 space, and then chain 4, and then single in the next chain 3 space and chain 4, 1 2 3 4, and we have our 3 on top, 1 2 3, and then we're in our dip, so we want to go single in the double, single in the chain 3 space, chain 4, so if you have 3, which we do, 1 2 3, you will end with a chain 1, and you will find your double, which you have 4 chains to start that row. So your 1 2 3 will be your double, chain 1 will be your chain. So you want to put the double into the second chain, right like that. And that's what it says, double in the last double, which that is, if you know what you're supposed to use those chains for doubles. Okay, row 11, we're going to chain 4 and turn our work because I said so. No. Now we should be working on the body of the shrug. We won't be working in the sleeve part, so we should be working straight across here. Let's chain 4, and like I said, let's turn our work. We're going to do a cluster in the next chain 4 space, which is this one. So a cluster is, again, start a double, don't finish it. Start a double, don't finish it, start another one, and end up with 4 on here. Okay, and then it says chain 3. Now it says to do a cluster, and the middle one we're going to do a cluster, chain 5, and do a cluster. So we're going to do a cluster, chain 5, and another cluster. And we did this on the dress, which is what I had to refer back to look at. Okay, so now we're going to chain 3 and do a cluster in the 3rd chain 4 space. Chain 1. And now we're going to repeat that. So we're going to go right into the chain 4 space with a cluster. And we're going to chain 3. Then in the middle chain 4 space, we're going to do a cluster, chain 5, and another cluster. And then we're going to do a chain 3 and a cluster in the last chain 4 space. And it said to do it twice, which we did, and then we're going to chain 1. And then we're going to do a cluster and a chain 3 in the next chain 4 space, which is where we left the chain 4 for the sleeve. So 1, 2, 3, cluster, and chain 3 in the next chain, no, in the next single. Wow. What the heck? Seriously? Oh my goodness. Okay, I'm gonna have to stop again. Okay, all I did was read. I didn't change nothing. I didn't take my hook out. All I did was read. So yes, okay, if you look down here, we have 2 singles. We are looking at 2 singles. One is on the right hand side of our work, then our sleeve, and one is on the left. So what we're going to do is we're going to cluster into the first single, then we're going to chain 5. Then we're going to look at it again, and we're going to cluster in our next single. 1, 2, 3. And then we're going to chain 3. And then we're going to cluster into our chain 4 space. And we're going to chain 1. And that makes that even on each side there with a chain 5 there. Exactly the same way as these. It just looks different, but is the same as these. So now we're going to repeat what we just did. We're going to cluster. Let's see what we got here. Repeat from the star 4 times, and then repeat the last section. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is go right into the clusters. You're going to do a cluster and a chain 4. So cluster, chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we're going to do, oh, I'm sorry, it is just chain 3. It's chain 3. Just like the beginning over here. Then we're going to do, in the middle one, we're going to do a cluster. Chain 5. And a cluster right in the same chain 3 space. And then we're going to chain 3. And then we're going to cluster in the next chain 4 space. And then you should chain 1 in between, right? Yeah, because we're going to jump right over to the next one and do another cluster in the chain 4 space. That's the same we did at the very beginning, and then we're chaining 3 in between. And it does that. That's 1, and then the 2, and then the 1. It does that same thing at the beginning when we did the first 2. It just jumps right over. So we'll do that. We'll do it all the way across. Then when we get to this side, we're going to do this side exactly how we did this one. You're going to end up with 1 cluster and 2 in the middle and 1 over here the same way. So how you're going to do it is when you get here, you're going to have your ending right here and then a chain 1. You're going to do a cluster in the 4. Then you're going to do a cluster. You're going to chain 3. And a cluster in this one, single crochet, chain 5, and then a cluster in this single crochet, and then chain 3, and then a cluster in this one, and then you'll chain 1 and do your 1 cluster, 2 clusters, 1 cluster, chain 1, 2. Okay, so I'll meet you back for row 12 if I can. You know what, I think I will meet you back at the end of this row and call it part 4 or whatever, part 3. In just a minute. Okay. Okay, I'm back. So I turned the video on before I finished so that I could show you these 2 underarms. So your underarms look exactly like these. You just did it together. So basically what we're ending up with is our cluster, 2 clusters and a cluster. Each time we repeat, it's a cluster, 2 clusters, and a cluster. This is the same way. A cluster, 2 clusters, and a cluster. The only difference is you have a chain 5 in the middle and a chain 3 on each side. So when you get over to, you do the back, same way. 4 of these. Okay, then when you get to the other underarm, you'll do the same thing. You'll have the 1 cluster, the 2, and then the 1. And just leave these sit here. Just leave them there. It just tells you to, so I'm going to do it. So I am on the last one where you just chain 1 and jump right over to your next cluster. And chain 3, and then your double cluster will be here, and you'll chain 5 in between, next cluster, and chain 3, and then your last cluster, and we want to read chain 1 and does it say chain 1? Yeah. And then double crochet in the last double crochet. So if you look at that again, it's 1, 2, 3, and that was your, it was a, yeah. So if we look back here, it's a chain 4. So we want it to look the same. So we chain 1, which I just did. And then to make it look the same, we double crochet in the 3rd chain from the hook. Or not from the hook, but the 3rd chain at the top of your chain 4 space. See, that leaves that chain 1 there. You had, on the row before, you had chained 4. So you would double crochet in the 3rd chain to make it look like a double. So that's going to end row number 11. And let's just put this in here because I don't want it to fall out. And I'm going to end part 3 right there where we split for our sleeves. And now it is looking very cute. It's very, very pretty. It looks like the dress, the pattern on the dress. But will I ever make this again? Most likely I will not, because I am most upset that people make patterns and don't have it tested by more than one person so that they can fix any errors that are in a typo or whatever reason. And if you are a tester and you test someone's pattern and you're not truthful and tell them that I don't understand this, it is not clear enough, then you're not a good tester. And that's my opinion. However, we aren't testing this pattern. We are making it just for us to give to our grandchild and or whatever you're going to do with yours. And so all I wanted to do was just get through the pattern, and it is really testing me, let me tell you. I'm going to finish it now. I am determined. So we are at the end of row 11. We have 2 rows to do on the body. I'm tired. I want to get this part 3 edited and uploaded. There are a couple mistakes in the taping, so follow it closely, and if I tell you rip something out, then do it, because there is one time when I do rip something out. Okay, and then what we'll do is we'll come back with row 12 and 13 in a few days, and then we will go on to one of the sleeves. And I hope I finish it before the end of July. Thank you. Take a moment out of each day and be creative. Talk to you later. Bye for now.